Hey everyone, Melody McAllister here, and I'm going to show you today how to upload the ISTE standards into your Spaces classroom. Once you have them in your Spaces classroom, you can tag learning artifacts from your class, individual, and group spaces, and even the activities you assign. But first, let's talk about the importance of the ISTE standards and where you can find out more about them. When I first became aware of the ISTE in 2016, I had no idea there were standards. But ISTE provides standards for students, educators, and even administrators. This past ISTE, I joined Dr. Eileen Winokur and Victoria Thompson, and we presented the ISTE standards, DEI, and Me. We hope to share the message that these standards embrace diversity, equity, and inclusion, and truly empower your students to be creators and confident digital citizens. So let me introduce you to the standards, and then we'll upload them into your classroom. First, if you want to find out more, I'm going to share my screen. You just go to ISTE.org. Once you get to ISTE.org, all right, you are going to go to standards. And you can go, what are these standards? You can actually, it's more than just students, educators, and leaders. It's for coaches and computational thinking. So there's so much that you can learn here. But for today's purposes, we're going to say that you want to implement these standards for your students and you want to tag them in your Spaces classroom. So let me introduce you to them. You know, when I first learned about ISTE, I didn't know that there were student standards. But now that I do know, they're just so wonderful. If we could get every single learner in our classroom to understand these standards, I think that we're going to have a bright future with young people who will lead the way in digital citizenship and be able to create content and navigate, with good resources. So anyway, the first one, and if I was going to start in the classroom, I would actually just start in the way that they've listed them. They are interchangeable, but it's a good way. If you've never introduced them to your students before, you can start with 1.1, the empowered learner. And once you get to this website, you're going to see that they actually have little standards that go with them as well, substandards. So just understand that when you go to the website. The next is becoming a digital citizen. Then a knowledge constructor. You might be thinking, oh my gosh, these are way too many standards. Well, I'm going to tell you, you may not get to every single one of them in a class year. It's not trying to get all of them. It's trying to go deeper. It's what do we say? It's not the quantity, it's the quality. So if this is the first year that you're doing this with your students, have some grace on yourself and your students. You don't have to get through every single one of them, and know that you don't have to go in this order. And then we get down to innovative designer, of course, computational thinker. And as a professional, you know what is appropriate for your class, for the development of your students. So you may not get to all 7 of them in one school year. And that's okay. You're still putting your students in the right direction. Creative communicator, and the last one, a global collaborator. And so these are pretty amazing standards. And go to ISTE.org, click on standards, and this is where you find it. Okay. So those, oh my gosh, before I leave this page, also, if you can download a free poster. So if you go to this, ISTE provides an amazing poster. You can actually hang that up in your classroom. And that would be a great way to kind of have that reminder and something that your students can see every day. All right. Okay. And so now that we know what those standards are, and you can see that they're pretty incredible. And if you can teach those to your students will become so empowered. And that's the importance of this. And we can't go back. I mean, like, we live in a digital world. Your students are digital navigators. All right. So now, how do we put them into our classroom? So now I'm going to share again. And I'm going to share my ISTE classroom. I'm actually going to share the classroom I created with Dr. Eileen Winokur and Victoria Thompson when we created the ISTE Standards DEI and Me presentation. So what you're seeing right now is all of my different classes, okay? And I'm actually going to click on the ISTE Standards. And this is our presentation. And if you're interested in being part of this classroom, please let me know. And I already do have the ISTE standards downloaded. I'm just going to show you how to do it as well. And it's okay. So you're going to go down to this where it says manage tag sets. I'm going to make sure that that's in the screen. Yes, wonderful. Manage tag sets. And this is where you can upload any any standards. You may be looking for your state standards. You may be able to look for the ACT, or the Castle for SEL. Those are some of my favorites. So anyway, all the standards that you need are in here. You just go to add curriculum sets, and in the browser you put ISTE, and this is very interesting. Okay, and then I see ISTE, so I'm going to click on that, education technology. Now you can see for educators and students, and this one says 2007, choose the 2016. But why would you want to put for educators? That's a good question. And so a lot of my friends are ISTE certified teachers. If you are actually trying to show that you, like, in the process of becoming ISTE certified as an educator, this would be a great idea to upload, because then you can tag what you are showing your class. This could be learning artifacts that you show to ISTE to prove that you are going in the right direction to be certified, ISTE certified as an educator. But that's a different day. Go ahead and click on the students. Just go to add set. And there they are. Boom, they are right there. So now you have them in your platform, okay? I'm going to go out there. And so over here, you can see that these are my goals. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to add, like, I'm looking for ISTE. So I am going to put it right here, put my ISTE standards. Okay. And then you can search over here for, oh, I just went past it. I'm sorry, my fingers. Okay, so education technology for students, and boom, it comes up. And then you can choose which ones you really want to focus on. You don't have to put all of them right in there all at once, because that might be overwhelming. Maybe you just want to start small. Maybe you're just at the beginning of the school year and you want to start with the empowered learner, or students articulate and set personal learning goals. So these are the ones that you want to start with. So you just click on them, and that little arrow or that check mark, and boom, they're in your class right there. Okay. And then once you start adding things, this is your class feed. The way that you can tag them is this little tag right here. All right. And then there they are for you to tag. And so you decide, what is your learning artifact matching? What are you trying to match? And so let's say empowered learners, students leverage technology to take an active role. I'm going to read this whole thing. Empowered learners, students leverage technology to take an active role in choosing, achieving, and demonstrating competency and their learning goals, informed by the learning sciences. So let's say that you've taught a lesson on that. Maybe you want to tag it for your purposes, or you're actually, a student has uploaded something that you would also like to tag. It's the same process. Okay. You just tag what you want, and that little check mark, and there you have it. It's success. You've tagged it. Okay. And so now you can see that these are different tags. And I actually tag this as an educator too. So because I am an educator and I created this class for educators, so I did upload the educator standards as well. And that might be something that you want to explore. But I just wanted to give you an idea of how easy it is to upload and tag the standards. And you can do this for activities. You can do this for the different individual spaces. It's very easy. Look for the blue buttons that say create or manage, the little check marks, and you have got this. So I wish you well. Thank you so much for joining me today. And if you have any questions, you can find me at MJ McCallie Writes or at Spaces EDU. And I just hope that this journey for the ISTE standards is a wonderful one for you. It makes us all better. Y'all take care. Bye now.